Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you very much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. On this edition, I'm going to be giving my final thoughts to the Saints Week 15 matchup versus the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, I got a little bit of time to think about this game and kind of get my thoughts together. And you know, watching the Saints in this Week 15 matchup, I got a lot of things I need to get off my chest. All right. Some of the things that I'm going to say uh, probably going to be a little bit controversial, but nevertheless, I have to say them. First off, the Saints against the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't feel like Drew Brees should have played in this game. I understand why he played in this game, but I don't feel like he should have played in this game. Going back and looking at Drew Brees throw the football, looking at some of the plays that he was making like early in the first quarter. I mean, he settled down as the game went on, but I just strongly believe that Drew Brees shouldn't have played in this game. And part of me don't want to believe that Drew Brees was just looking at this game selfishly. I want to believe that Drew Brees wanted to go out here and put his best foot forward for, to help his team win. But a part of me feels like Drew Brees knew that this was his last opportunity to go up against Patrick Mahomes. If Drew Brees had an opportunity this week to play against someone like Kirk Cousins or play against Teddy Bridgewater, I strongly believe he wouldn't have played in this game. I think that Drew Brees understands that this is his last season, and he wanted to have an opportunity to go up against a guy that a lot of people are considering the future of the NFL. I don't even want to say consider. After watching the game that I saw, he is the future of the NFL. Look, rather you like the Kansas City Chiefs or not, Patrick Mahomes is something special. And watching him, it just makes me just think about the fact that we could have possibly had this guy as our quarterback if the Kansas City Chiefs didn't jump up and get him. But I don't feel like Drew Brees should have played this game. Another thing, I'm starting to think about some of the things that are going forward, right? You got the playoffs coming up, and you want to be playing your best football. And I'm looking at guys like Jared Cook, who me personally feel like Jared Cook is dealing with some issues psychologically, man. Look, I understand how a person feels. Like when you have a traumatic experience, it's hard for you to shake it off. It's almost like if a boxer gets knocked out, right? If he gets knocked out, he's a prize fighter. He always wins, and all of a sudden he just gets knocked out cold. It messes with you psychologically the next time you get in the ring. I feel like the concussions that Jared Cook had over the course of time is messing with him psychologically. And some of the things that we know Jared Cook to do, he's not doing because he has that in the back of his mind. I see him being a little bit, skittish. I see him being a little bit nervous, a little bit careful with some of the plays. And it's like he almost has to psych himself out to go out there and get those 50-50 balls, to try to fight, to try to, get that ball in traffic. And he does come up in big moments. And people thought I was crazy when I said this on Twitter, but Jared Cook reminds me a lot of Shannon Sharp. Like, if you got opportunity to watch Shannon Sharp late in his career, he plays the same exact way. Shannon Sharp wasn't giving you the big numbers like he was when he was in his prime, but towards the end of his career, like when you needed like a first down or you needed a touchdown, Shannon Sharp was right there. I mean, he has like the build and everything else that Shannon Sharp has. He's a little bit taller than Shannon, but nevertheless, he reminds me a lot of him. It's like he has to psych himself up to make a play. And you can tell like he was extremely frustrated on the sidelines when him and Drew Brees, when Drew Brees went over that bomb. I feel like Adam Troutman needs to jump in. You know what I'm saying? I think Adam Troutman needs to play a couple more snaps. This young kid has proven each and every week that he is getting better and better. He's getting better as a blocker. He's getting better as a pass catcher. And it seems like he rises to the occasion and he has no fear. And I think that touchdown against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers elevated his confidence. And right now, Jared Cook is dealing with something psychologically and is definitely dealing with his confidence. So I feel like you might want to try to move Adam Troutman into that spot. Another thing, the Saints' first 15 plays, the scripted plays that start the game, the New Orleans Saints got to come up with some better plays. They got to come up starting fast. A lot of the times the Saints end up losing games is because they're behind the 8 ball. It's like the offense comes onto the field and they're not clicking, they're not gelling, and then the defense goes out there and they have to go out there and play lights out. And if the defense constantly is on the field because the offense is getting 3 and outs on 2 to 3 different drives, then the defense is going to start to wear down, and the other defense is going, the offense is going to figure out what the Saints defense is doing. And the next thing you know, you down 10-0, you down to 14-0, and you're basically eliminating the running game. You know, the Saints have to run the football more. Drew Brees should not be throwing the ball over 30 times coming off a fractured rib injury. He had 11 fractured ribs, and yet you're asking your 41-year-old quarterback to air it out and to keep you in the game. You don't want to do that. And I'm calling on the offensive line. I'm calling on the offensive line because I need them to block better when it comes to run blocking. Latavius Murray couldn't do nothing in this game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Kansas City Chiefs aren't even that good at run stopping. They're not even a good run defense. So that's the part I just didn't understand, man. I'm questioning a lot of these guys on the line. Where's their heart? Where's the passion? Where's the monster inside of you? You got a couple guys like Ryan Ramczyk. He's a monster. Teron Armstead, he's a monster. But you look at people like Cesar Ruiz, you look at people like Eric McCoy, and definitely Andrews Pete. And even though, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people, you know, pick on Andrews Pete, but, you know, I mean, you got to be tougher than what you are, man. Can Andrews Pete block? Yes. But I just feel like when he goes up against a guy that's a really aggressive, it seems like he folds like a cheap tent. And we don't need that. And I understand the frustration of the Who Dat Nation because we don't want another letdown. We don't want another letdown because time is winding up, folks. Time is winding up for Drew Brees. And you're not going to have the same team that you had this year. And it would be a shame that the Saints have some of the best talent due to the draft, due to undrafted free agents, and you have absolutely nothing to show for it. The Saints have to get the running game going. You got to be able to help out Drew Brees. You got to be able to help him out, man, because Drew Brees cannot carry this team anymore. Drew Brees can show you flashes of greatness. He can go out there and ball out. He can give you 3 and 4 touchdowns, and he definitely can keep you in a game. But he cannot carry this team week in, week out, and especially into the playoffs. In the playoffs, you get the best football from each team. So you're not going to be able to throw the ball all over the place. And you got to limit the mistakes. Alex Anzalone not falling on the ball could have possibly cost the Saints the game. The Saints lost by 3 because he didn't fall on the football. They left 5 points on the field. So if you look at it, you know what I'm saying, that could have been enough for the Saints to at least be in the lead going into late into the fourth quarter. The defense of the New Orleans Saints has gotten a lot better. And it's sad because we in the Who Dat Nation have wanted the Saints defense to be good for a very long time. And I feel like it's shame on the Saints. I got to say this. It's shame on the Saints that you waited for Drew Brees to be 41 years old in order for you to get a formidable defense, a defense that can get a stop, a defense that you didn't have to rely on the offense to go out there and ball out every single game. If you would have gave Drew Brees a defense like this, and maybe like 2011, 2012, who knows how many Super Bowl appearances or Super Bowl championships we could have had, because the Saints offense was high powered. And at that time, they were clicking on all cylinders. But now you have a 41-year-old quarterback who can still carry the team, but asking him to carry it week in, week out may be a tall task. And I can't blame Drew Brees for that. I can't blame Drew Brees for that, man. 17 carries. 17 carries. The Saints ran the ball 17 times. That's not going to get it done, man. That is not going to get it done. You got to find a way to run the football, and it starts with you having your best 15 plays, driving the ball down the field to get at least a field goal. Too many 3-and-outs. Too many stalled plays, man. Too many stalled drives, excuse me. Too many stalled drives for the New Orleans Saints. You got to get the ball down the field. Because if you kick a field goal, you still got a lead. But if a team goes out there, you get a 3-and-out, they get the ball, they score. You get the ball back, you don't do anything with it. They get the ball back and they kick a field goal or they score. Now it's 2 touchdowns or 2, you know what I'm saying? Or now it's a 10-point lead. And now you got to find yourself trying to throw yourself back into the game before it gets a little bit out of control and it completely wipes out the running game. You got to find a way to get the running game involved. Alvin Kamara is too good. Latavius Murray is too good. Look on your offensive line and see what you have, man. Look on your offensive line and dare them to be a force. Dare them to be maulers, because that's what you're going to need. The Saints front four did an outstanding job against Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes didn't throw for 300 yards in the game. And, you know, some people are like, well, the Saints lost. Yeah, it's about wins and losses. Yes, it is. But you still can show some flashes in the midst of defeat. I think about the movie Rocky 1. Like, everybody's seen Rocky 1, right? You've seen the first Rocky. Rocky didn't beat Apollo Creed on the first movie, right? He didn't beat him. But he looked so good in a fight that it had people questioning Apollo Creed. I learned more about the New Orleans Saints and his defense and the passion and the drive and the determination that this team has and the will to win more than I learned about the Kansas City Chiefs. Because if you look at that game, Patrick Mahomes had to do some circus-like passes in order to score touchdowns and get the ball down the field. It all came from mostly extending plays. Every time this guy dropped back, he had pressure in his face. He had to run outside the pocket. And, you know, he had to find a way to get the ball down the field. I take that because this guy is a special player. But if you get pressure like that on Kirk Cousins, if you get pressure like that on Teddy Bridgewater, if you get pressure like that on Jared Goff, they're not going to be able to do some of the things that Patrick Mahomes does. So I'm very excited about that. I like the physicality of the team. You know, I look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They remind me of those early Saints teams that was really like a finesse team, wasn't really that tough, gritty offense. And I look at a lot of these guys, they're finesse guys. And I think about the Kansas City Chiefs, I feel like the teams that are going to be defensively aggressive against them have a stronger chance to beat the Kansas City Chiefs because they're not really a physical team. They're a finesse team. A really talented finesse team, but nevertheless a finesse team. But now we move on, man. We got to move on to the Minnesota Vikings game. We move on to the Minnesota Vikings game. The Saints got to beat the Minnesota Vikings. Look, I'm not worrying about 2017, a Minneapolis Miracle. I don't care about the playoff game last year. This is a brand new season, and the Saints need to win this game. They need to win this game, man. They need to go ahead and wrap up the division. But it has to start with these wide receivers being able to get separation, man. I know for a fact the Minnesota Vikings are going to play man coverage on the New Orleans Saints receivers and dare the New Orleans Saints receivers to break free. These young players are going to have to step up. I like the fact that Lil Jordan Humphrey scored a touchdown, and I know that when a guy get that touchdown, they start to get hungry, and they want that feeling all over again. So maybe this was the wake-up call for them. The New Orleans Saints with Jawan Johnson, I think they need to exit stage left. This guy is not ready for prime time at all. And I think they need to use Alvin Kamara more in the passing game. The Chiefs did a really good job neutralizing him in the passing game. And they took him out of the game, man. They said, if you're going to beat us, we're not going to allow you to beat us with your best player. And the Kansas City Chiefs didn't do that. So the Saints have got to start fast. They got to start fast. They got to play with intensity. They got to be physical at the point of attack. And they got to make sure that they beat the Minnesota Vikings to wrap up this division. And I think you can get that out of the way. You ain't got to worry about what Tampa going to do or what this team going to do. Because I can tell you right now, if it comes down to a Week 17 game, and let's just say, for example, if the Carolina Panthers was playing the Saints tough, it would not surprise me that the Atlanta Falcons, just despite the Saints, will probably pull their starters or probably just fall back just so Tampa can win the division over the Saints. I mean, it's possible. I mean, misery loves company. So the Saints got to make sure that they go out there and they got to be physical. And I understand it's a short week. You're playing on Friday. You played your game at noon, but you got to find a way to win. You got to find a way to win. And these referees, man, the referees in this game was just absolutely embarrassing, man. And I don't understand it because for a couple of weeks, it seemed like the Saints were pretty good with the penalties. They were getting little to no penalties. And now it seems like every single week they're getting more penalties. I don't understand it. It's rather the Saints just kind of just fell off, you know what I'm saying, of the things that they were actually doing, the things that they cleaned up. Or it just seems like to me that it's very, very nitpicky in these games. So hopefully the Saints can get it together. I believe in this team. I think that they have what it takes. I'm not ready to give up yet. I hope everybody out there has not given up yet because this team can get better. You didn't have Michael Thomas. Traquan Smith left the game. You didn't have Deontay Harris to flip the field. All that stuff matters in games like this. So hopefully the Saints can get some of those guys back and go into the postseason and make a run at it because you're not going to get these many opportunities anymore. So you have to rise to the occasion. But I want to say thank you very much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Anchor FM. And also check your boy out on Twitter at State of Saints. That's at State of Saints. And finally on Instagram at TJAY Jones_. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?